This Week in 40K.
Welcome to This Week in 40K, your show about everything that's happened in the past week for competitive 40K. The show about the grim dark that is neither grim nor dark. Billy is here as always. Billy, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. Life is good. My wife went back to work after maternity leave. We have a nanny, which actually opens up a lot of time during the day. Destroys your finances, but gives you some extra time. So yeah, yourself.
And also lots of pornography starts that way.
I'm gonna let that pitch sail right by. But yes,
I'm not wrong.
How are you doing, Colin?
Awful. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
It has been a terrible morning for those that were waiting to watch us live, which it looks like was no one. We apologize for being late. I woke up to not feeling well and then the computer problems. So it was a real heck of a combination. We'll call it the morning combo is what we'll call it. But yeah, no, I've been playing a little 40K. I played Guard into, what did I play?
Guard into Ultramarines.
No, I played Salamanders into Necrons on Saturday.
Right.
And by Salamanders, I mean Salamanders.
Right.
The Firestorm detachment, but I was actually Raven Guard at the moment. And then yesterday I played Guard into Ultramarines, so I've been having a lot of fun with kind of the new stuff. I've been playing Guard kind of as a hobby, and I've really been winning with them. I think that they're better than people give them credit for. I understand the weaknesses in the army, but I've been very impressed with my ability to play the game with Guard after how much Guard's kind of been trash talked a little bit in the by the people that follow the meta. So that's been really a fun project for me to give myself kind of a thing that isn't the bleeding edge just here to function with. Lehman Russ is real good, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to be talking about that some going forward at the rest of the show. I've been messing around with Black Templar, had a fun game into Blood Angels. Black Templars punch better than Blood Angels these days. I'm not sure if we're going to touch on too many of Black Templar lists this week, but they actually are one of the risers in the meta. So just makes me happy. My true space fascists just purging all of the Xenoses and heretics and really whoever's in front of them.
Yeah, I actually this weekend I'm going to get to play a bunch, I think, and I'm excited about Firestorm, Ironstorm, and Vanguard. I think is the name of the 3 detachments that I have armies lists built for that I want to play. So lots of new Space Marine stuff going on for me, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that kind of learning part of it. But I am hobbying a Ultramarine / Salamanders army that I'm very excited about. That I'll be an Ultramarines army in the Firestorm detachment. Let's not be confusing. I'll get to go. I'm going to get to play Chuck with that really soon. So that'll be fun. I'm excited.
When you say you're hobbying it, you're doing it in your purple, University of Washington color scheme, right? You're not like doing some sort of Salamander Ultramarine.
Yeah, the people think it's chaos. Yes. Because a man can't paint Marines purple and gold.
A man can paint Marines any color they want, and that's actually always one of my main suggestions to people trying to figure it out. Paint your Marines whatever, some non-codex color, because then when they change from Ultramarines to Salamanders to Space Wolves to Black Templar to White Scars, no one really cares.
Yeah, and one of the things I was realizing yesterday is that my friend who was playing Ultramarines wanted to use Iron Father Pharaohs as one of the Tech Marines. Yeah. And I sometimes if I'm playing for fun, I'll use Eldrad as a Farseer. I think some of that is just fun, and I hope people are chill about that. Like, I would rather him have Iron Father Pharaohs as one of his Tech Marines than the actual Tech Marine model. That model's great.
Yes.
So that was just an interesting thought I had yesterday where it's like, yes, this is literally just a Tech Marine model. It just happens to be a named Tech Marine. So if he wants to be a Tech Marine in a different army, I don't see the problem with this cool model getting used.
Oh, I absolutely have the Iron Father Pharaohs model as one of my 3 or 4 Tech Marines that whenever you need that many Tech Marines, he shows up. It is a wonderful model. Do that. Allow that. Don't be silly.
Yeah. I think that's all I got for 40K. Hobby mostly. I did do a trade yesterday of stuff I don't need in Marines for stuff I do need in Marines. And that's really good to not spend money on 40K and then get the stuff I was needing. So
what are you needing these days?
Well, I traded away my Marine box set stuff from the new box set like an idiot. And now I've played more Marines than I have Tyranids by a lot. But so I needed the fire guys and the combi lieutenant guy who's auto included in every list. I needed those things. So yeah. I also needed a Land Raider because you basically can't get them. You can't get them on eBay. You can't get them on Amazon. You can't get them, I don't know, Craigslist. I don't know, kink.com. I don't know. You can't get them anywhere. So my buddy Jason had an older Land Raider that was missing pieces on it. And I'm going to take it and turn it into a Land Raider Redeemer. So I'm actually feeling, despite the fact that there's a project ahead of me, I'm feeling relieved that I finally got a Land Raider I can kit bash. Because they're so fun and you literally can't buy them. And as a side note, one of the things I'm really thinking a lot about now is my strong opinion against 3D printing GW copies of models, mixed with the fact that supply chain is so bad you can't get the things that you want. So that's a thing I've been thinking about because I have a really strong moral issue with the copying of other people's IP.
Right.
But at the same time, I'd like to play with a damn Land Raider. Like,
yeah. No,
it just makes me really irritated. Like, I just want to buy your $100 stupid freaking plastic toy and drive it around and make flamer noises. But no, I can't buy one.
Yeah.
Unless I think there's one on eBay for $300, but I'm not going to buy that.
Yeah, that's not worth it. One thing you can do that is legal and supports Games Workshop, the Horus Heresy old style Land Raiders with the open tracks all the way on top. Those are available and out in the wild. I think they're like a half an inch smaller, but GW in the article revealing them said they're totally fine to use in 40K. So,
really? I do have one of those. To me, it's just a completely different size. It's taller and shorter. It's just a different size model.
That's fair. It's one of those things. Check with your TOs before you build everything around.
Yeah, because I want to hobby up a Land Raider that I'm going to have to check with a TO at every tournament to see if I get to bring. I understand where you're coming from. It's just a very, very frustrating issue for me. And I don't want to hobby up a Land Raider that's literally the wrong size. That feels bad.
That's completely fair. The only other thing I have going on in my 40K is I'm running an RTT not this weekend, but next weekend. Feel free to bring your Horus Heresy Land Raiders to it, folks.
That's good.
Yeah.
That was an incredibly relevant topic for lots of our audience.
You know what? I know for a fact that some of our audience is going to be at that event. So here you go. And not just people that are speaking on this show.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
There are...
Our top story.
What's our top story, Billy?
Our top story is Colin regains his streak of being able to interrupt me in mid-sentence. This time it was just an Arrested Development quote. Our top story is Warhammer Days coming this Saturday. There's just like no actual news or big changes that have happened in the last week. We have a stable and interesting meta with quite a few events happening all over the world that we will discuss. But that's just sort of what it is. It's the general inertia of a relatively healthy meta and no new information that is relevant to be shared. You could argue that Marines finally being released this coming Saturday. So, get down to your game stores, wherever you've placed your orders right when they open. So you can have your new toys as soon as you can. But we've known about those miniatures for months now. And we've known about those rules for weeks now. So there's not really anything new to say.
I like the Marine Codex as the top story. And the reason why is that I really am enjoying that it appears that there is 3 completely functional, maybe 4, 3.5 completely competitive detachments in that book. And I do think that they will have depending on the one you pick, 60 to 70% overlap with each other. Like, I think everybody's going to take Ballistus Dreadnoughts. They're undercosted and amazing for what they do.
Yeah.
I think everybody's going to take the Combi Lieutenant. Like, there's just certain things. Inceptors are probably going to be in almost every list. There's just stuff that's going to be universal. But in general, we are going to see stylistically different Space Marine lists. Lots of people are going on the Ironstorm route. I myself am going the People and Transports Firestorm route.
Yeah.
So I think that the significance of that is big on the game with how many Marine players there are. So I'm really excited to see the next few weeks as the Marine Codex becomes live to see what happens. And I'm hoping that I get to go to a tournament with it very soon. So that's where I'm at on the Marine Codex. I think it's a really pivotal moment in the game because I like there being variety in a particular army.
And that is something that they have done a very good job of in the first two codexes.
Yes.
We're going to talk about NIDS a bit here. We're going to mention different detachments. And quite to Colin's point, there is overlap. There are some data sheets that are good regardless of what you surround them with, but there are some data sheets that really go up or down based on the detachment and what is in the rest of the army. And we're seeing that with NIDS. To Colin's point, as people are starting to theorycraft and get some games in with the new detachments, you are seeing very different armies. I hope you bought some Leviathan boxes so you have those Ballistus Dreadnoughts and Combi Weapon Lieutenants on the relative cheap, because yes, you probably want at least 2 and at least 1 of those guys. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, you're going to see Infernus Marines in the Salamander detachment, but you're not going to see them in the Iron Hands detachment. And they're great in the Infernus, and they are not in the Iron Hands.
Well, they're fine in the Iron Hands, but yes, I'm very impressed by them and Impulsors. I don't think that the extra strength is actually the thing, but yeah, no, they're really designed for Ironstorm. I agree.
Firestorm.
What did I say?
Ironstorm.
You're right. That's not correct.
Yeah, and that said, as just a dark horse, the Vanguard one, I've seen some spicy lists of, this is my scariest Death Star that I can plant 9 inches in front of you, and oh, by the way, have a pretty scary army around it that, while you're dealing with this horrible, horrible thing turn 1, I actually might go out on a limb and say that's going to end up being the actual best list once someone figures it out.
I think that 10 Deathwing Knights with a Terminator Captain that are -1 to be shot and always in cover that start 9 inches away from you is a problem. Like I think Deathwing Knights are obvious fit in that Ravenwing army. So I think that you need to, if you're not a Marine player and you're worried about being competitive, I think you need to start thinking about how you're going to kill those Deathwing Knights.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't want a Terminator Captain. You want a Chaplain. In Terminator armor because you want +1 to wound.
And the 4-up Feel No Pain versus Mortals.
Well, they're Deathwing Knights. They already have that.
Isn't it just once a game though? Yeah. This is always.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough.
There's that. Just because they're our friends, Art of War did a fun put together an army, and they did that, and it also had Devastator Centurions in it, 6 of them. It was a fun list by the time they were done.
They're very good in Raven. Excuse me. They're very good in Raven Guard.
Yeah. It's not an easy thing to kill, especially when there are 10 Deathwing Knights that are literally charging you on turn 1. So anyway, that's most of what there is on Marines. We have quite a few lists to go through here and not as much time to do it. So you want to move on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
What's winning?
Some Eldar is winning. But other than that, we've got some weird variety to talk about. And there's some stuff in here that is very much hey, look, guys, Colin doesn't know what he's talking about. And I always enjoy some of that.
Right.
A little bit of Colin doesn't know what he's talking about is great in any podcast.
Yes, although, Colin always knows everything that he's talking about and is the one true source of wisdom and information that you should come to every week on Tuesdays.
Man, that's not right. But if you do enjoy the show, or any of our shows, I would like it if you guys subscribed either at the podcast, Best in Tabletop, wherever you get your podcast should be there. And then if you would like to subscribe on the YouTube, that helps us out a lot. The number of subscribes we get on the YouTube determines how much stuff and good things we get. I have a dog who's trying to come through the door at me, so I'll be back shortly, and we'll talk about stuff.
Yeah. While Colin is, now it's just me. I guess because we don't want to see Colin stand up. As Nick says, the side before Eldar, I feel deeply. Yes and no. They are still certainly one of the best armies in the game. They are beatable. I think the current build is the current builds that we're seeing are annoying in their own special and unique ways, but they're not going to quite leaf blower you off the table. So there is counterplay, and there's the possibility of going all 5 turns. Now you might not get much to them in those 5 turns because they're going to run away and hide, but it's by the 5th nerf, it's less obnoxious.
Sorry, I have a kid thing. I'm sorry, guys. This has been a rough morning for me. I'll be with you in just a second.
Here, let me do one of my events, and then we'll hop back to you.
Okay.
So the 4th largest event of this weekend was the Pantheon GT in Padstow, Australia. This was 61 players, 5 rounds, and Australia always has a slightly different meta because they stand upside down all day and their toilet bowls flush the wrong way, which makes things hard. But actually,
when you roll the dice, they fall upwards off the table.
It's just hard to live down there, especially because literally everything there wants to kill you, other than the people who I hear are very nice. But they legitimately have supply chain reasons, and miniatures are just twice as expensive and impossible to find. So their meta is different. That said, this is different. It was 3 NIDS armies and a guard army in the top 4. Brody Middleton won with an unending swarm NIDS build. You know how we talked about how there are going to be some units that are in every list? Well, one of those is Death Leaper, who's in literally every NIDS army I saw this week. A Neuro Tyrant, also in almost all of them. And then here's where the unending swarm becomes different. It's a Turvigon, 20, 20, and 10 gargoyles, 20s of Termagants, 2 Exocrines, because those are just good. A Lictor, 2 Neurolictors, 3 Pyrovores, 2 Rippers, 3 Venoms. Now that Neurolictor, Pyrovore, Ripper combo, that's the mission playing bit that seems to be in every army. And then it's what do you surround it with? Well, Brody surrounded it with an absolute carpet of little Gribblies. Do you have any thoughts on the carpet of little Gribblies army?
Yeah, I think it table controls super well. It's got some great jank for moving around the table and taking up a lot of space. I think that the general perception has been it's not as strong as the other Tyranid options, but I don't think we actually know what the best Tyranid list is. So I'm super interested to see that. I don't think that this one tournament is enough data for me to feel like I'm wrong on that, but I might be. To me, it's like the 3rd best.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to be talking about quite a few other NIDS lists, but first, Liam Ma brought Guard and brought a small parking lot. Lord Solar, Platoon Commander, Tank Commander, 10 Guardsmen, 1 Bane Sword, 1 Earthshaker, 1 Lehman Russ Executioner, 1 Lehman Russ Vanquisher, 2 Dorns, 1 Scout Sentinel. How can I make a knight army out of Guard?
Yeah. Man, that sounds boring. Okay, good on him.
Liam knows what Liam enjoys, and that's what Liam enjoys. Alexander Englazos. I think I've tried to struggle through that name before. Apologies, Alexander. Brought NIDS, brought Index Detachment, Death Leaper, Neuro Tyrant, Old One Eye. Old One Eye has 2 Carnifex friends, 10 Termagants, 1 Biovore, 1 Maliceptor, 2 Molochs, 3 Neurolictors, 2 Pyrovores, 3 Solo Rippers, 2 Trigons. Slightly more big bug approach.
Yeah. I got nothing. Lots of good stuff in that book.
The Old One Eye and 2 Carnifex combo is something that I was seeing in a lot of lists. So get used to that as a thing.
Yeah, it's relatively durable, and then it hits hard. It's somewhat fast. I really like that unit. The one time I played with it, it was into Thousand Suns. They told me to ignore my armor save. So that felt really bad. But that's like one example of a situation. That's not the, that's not the be all and end all for that unit.
Yeah. And then finally, Joshua Hines also brought Index Nids. I think a relatively similar list. Death Leaper, Old One-Eye and his two friends, a Hive Tyrant or Neuro Tyrant, a Winged Prime that hangs out with 6 melee warriors, 10 Gargoyles, a Byrovore, a Neurolictor, 2 Pyrovores, 1 Ripper, 2 Horospexes, and 2 Maliceptors.
Yeah, those are all Tyranid models. It's true.
Less long range guns. Decent amount of mid range guns, and whatever you want to characterize Maliceptors as. Mid-range.
And this doesn't. This isn't the Codex.
This is the Index.
Okay, the Index.
Well, I mean, it's in the Codex now, but it's labeled it. But I don't know the names of NIDS detachments.
Fair enough. Okay.
So that's what Joshua had. Interesting stuff from Down Under, and apologies to Australia for the jokes. We love you guys. You're wonderful.
Yeah. All right. So I'll talk about the biggest tournament of the weekend, which is the Michigan GT in Lansing, Michigan. And it was won by Eldar, which is boring, but we'll talk about it anyways because we want nothing but support for Brenton Weiss, who won the event. Remember, our official opinion is take as broken of stuff as you want to the tournament. It's the game's fault, not yours.
Correct.
So he's got himself what we call the double avatar. He's got the Incarn and the Avatar on his list, which is a lot of points. And then a Farseer and a Way Leaper, 2 Fire Prisms, a Night Spinner, 2 units of Swooping Hawks, 2 Warwalkers, a unit of Warp Spiders, and a unit of Shadow Specters. So extremely basic Eldar list. Good to congrats to Brenton Weiss. Second place is Scott Ketchum, who I still think sounds extremely like a Pokemon trainer. And Scott brought, you guys aren't going to believe this. I want everybody to, are you sitting down? If you're driving, be careful. Second place was Sisters of Battle. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. Let's look at this and see if it's different from anything else. We got Dialogus, Morven Vol, Palatine, Triumph of St. Catherine. Okay, those are all things I expect. Unit of 10 Battle Sisters. Okay. 2 Rhinos. 3 units of 10 Archoflagellants. 2 Castigators. 2 units of 2 Crusaders. 2 Exorcists. A unit of Paragon Warsuits. Looks like 3 of them. A Seraphim Squad of 5. And a Calidus Assassin. This is obviously the things that are good from Sisters. I just... they have a lot of really bad matchups. And they have things that they just go, oh, I can't kill that. That's too bad. So I don't know if Scott is better than everybody else. It could be. I don't know if Scott had a really good path. I didn't have a chance to look at that. But very surprising to see Sisters perform this well. If you're out there and you're a Sisters expert and you can explain what this, we'd love to hear it.
I mean, you said is 30 Archoflagellants?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not something I've seen anywhere. They will tread a horde.
Yeah.
It looks like just from I've never seen.
Yeah, they've always had 1 million attacks. That's kind of what they do.
Okay. Good job.
Yeah. Third place is a little-known player new to the meta called Brad Chester. That's a joke. And Brad was playing himself some orcs. So we've got Captain Badrock, who's awesome. Mozrog Skarg Brad, who's the guy that's impossible to kill for 195 points. Knob on Smasha Squid. Man, I don't feel well this morning and just making the org list really hard to talk about. Painboy Warboss, 3 trucks, because 60 points is a great price for a truck. Flash gets, 2 units of Gretchen, 2 units of 10 Knobs, 3 units of 3 Squig Boys, actually 633, excuse me, I'm tired today, and 3x5 Storm Boys. So pretty standard collection of what's good. There isn't a lot of nuance here I can share. It's just these are the things that are good in orcs right now. Fourth up is Tim Schmidt, who did get Imperial Knights and went 5 in a tie. 4 in a tie. This is only a 5-round event with 100 and whatever people, which is a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tim's Knight list. Knight Castellan. Let's see. 1, 2, 3 Helverins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Warglaves, and then 4 Inquisitorial Henchmen, because 8 wounds for 40 points is dope.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Michigan GT. The rest of the top 10 at the biggest event of the weekend was Brian Doherty, Brian Doherty, whatever. With World Eaters, Jamie Keep with Black Templars, Stephen Herrick with Black Templars, Joe Mooney with Orcs, Brandon Valley with Tau, and then Noah Bartle with Leagues of Votan. Lots of stuff in there that I don't think people would have expected to be in the top 10. So that's cool. Next up, we've got the Battle for Salvation in the Northeast in West Nyack, New York. The Salvation stuff is very popular. So this is kind of a figurehead of the 40K scene, I would say, this tournament. Won by a well-known player, Mr. Sean Naden.
Yes, he's good.
Yeah, he's good. He was playing Orcs. He has a Beast Boss. He's got Gazgul, which almost no one plays, but he's playing him. Nob on Smash a Squid, Nob with Wog Banner, Warboss. He does not have the really hard to kill character, which I think is surprising. 1 unit of 10 Beast Nagas, 1 unit of 20 Boys, 1 truck, a Battle Wagon, 2 units of Gretchen, a unit of Mega Knobs, a unit of Big Knobs, a big unit of Knobs, rather, a unit of 2 units of 3 Squighog Boys, 2 units of 5 Stone Boys, and 2 units of 3 Warbikers. This is not the Orc list. This is probably 70% of what I'm used to seeing. But if you guys don't know Sean Naden, that's just kind of how he rolls. He just kind of takes whatever he wants to take. Okay, next up, second place was Sasha Alexander Edelkraut. Still not sure if I'm saying your name, Sasha, despite the fact we've talked to you about you numerous times. This is going to be Index Space Marines because it's not out yet. But he is playing Imperial Fists with Lysander, Librarian in Volbus Armor, Primaris Librarian, Tor Garadon, who's hilarious. Unit of 6 Aggressors, unit of 3 Eliminators, 2 units of 3 Eradicators. I like them as skirmish pieces. 2 units of 3 Inceptors, fantastic toolkit pieces. 2 units of 5 Infiltrators, always great. Unit of 10 Stern Guard, a Thunderfire Cannon, 2 Whirlwinds, a Calidus Assassin, and Inquisitorial Henchman. Neat list that's not relevant anymore.
I mean, it's not relevant. You could still take it. I guess you get a lot more stuff because points are going down.
True. Third place is Johnny Zoo with his Black Legion. Abaddon, Chaos Lord, Dark Commune. That's the first 4 lines of most of these lists. And then 10 Cultists, a Chaos Rhino, the Accursed Cultist unit that brings people back. Love that. He's got the 10 Terminators to go with Abaddon. Fine. 2 units of 10, 2 units of 5 Chosen, 2 Forge Fiends, 2 units of 3 Nurglings, and Celeste. So really interesting list. CSM is getting more and more popular, but this doesn't have the oblits that we're seeing in all the other lists. So this is a kind of an interesting data point from the meta. Yeah. Fourth place is Drew Salzborn. We're absolutely going to talk about him with his Leagues of Votan list. What a hero. Call. And then 10 Warriors. Then we've got ourselves 4 Sagittars to put people in.
Oh, wow.
Then 1, 2, 3 by 3 of the Thunderkin. 5 and 5 Berserkers. 10 Hearthguard. 2 and then 3 Land Fortresses. Is this what's good for Votan? Who knows? What?
That's a way more melee-focused Votan list than what we've been seeing. And it's a lot of the data sheets that were absolutely the terror of everyone when they were first revealed that got powered down. Which I was going to ask which faction it is that's not a thing anymore because but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so next up is the fourth place was Benjamin Menasier with Astrignani, and fifth place was Gaudier Tremlet with Eldari as well. Okay.
5th and 6th, right? Not 4th and 5th because you went through.
No, 4th and 5th it says. Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong tournament. Sorry.
There you go.
5th is Yanari with David Adelman, and 6th is Ronan Yer with Death Guard. Then Votan, Ultramarines, Chaos Knights. So interesting. My final tournament to talk about this week is the Belgium GT, which of course was in New Hampshire. No, it was in Belgium. And it was won by Aldari, which is boring. But Guillaume probably wants us to talk about his list, and I can't blame him for that. So he's got himself Wayfarer Fugan, who we've been seeing in more and more lists. Spirit Seer, Incarn, Tripmaster. So different. He's got 2 units of 3 Star Weavers. That's different as well. 2 Night Spinners, Shadow Specters, 2 units of 5 Troops, and a unit of 10 Wraith Guard. So this is fairly different.
Yeah,
which I think is fun.
There was some of this at the London GT, and those Harlequin units are kind of, they're filling a similar role to Hawk, Spider, Specters in run around, do missions, be a little bit better than they should be for a variety of weird and annoying reasons. I think it's just sort of a flavor to taste thing. Some people like Mexican food, some people like Italian food, some people like Thai food, some people like.
I'm sorry, hold on. There are people that don't like Mexican food?
Yeah.
Weird. Because what I don't like is meat and cheese. I guess vegans don't like meat and cheese. Actually, authentic Mexican food doesn't really have a lot of cheese. Anyways, I'm being difficult now. Let's continue. Next up is Gabriel Geertz. And I don't understand. He's got sisters as well. I don't know what's happening. Why are sisters doing well? What is going on here? I don't know. Imagifier, Junith, Morganval, Triumph of St. Catherine. Okay. This is a hard to read list, by the way. 10 Battle Sisters, 2 units of 10 and then 3 Archiflagellants. That's weird. Castigator, Sacrosanct, Crusaders, Exorcist, Paragon Warsuits, and then a bunch of Pentanent engines, and a Seraphim squad and a Zephyr squad. So it looks like 3x1 Pentanent engine. So how did this work? What does this do? Nobody knows. Congrats to Gabriel for winning with sisters. Excuse me, hiccup suddenly.
It is interesting because, like, especially with the points costs on Marines, you can get almost the same amount of Marines bodies as sisters bodies, and you just like get an extra wound and some more attacks. So I am interested in the Rise of Sisters. Let's see if it lasts into future weeks, and we'll figure out actually why they're working.
Yeah. All right. So, excuse me. What am I in? Third place?
Third place, Necrons.
Yeah. Bart. What's Steeled, I guess. He had 2 Hexmark Destroyers, an Overlord, a Technomancer, the Silent King, and a Transcendent Catan. Oh, fair enough. That all makes sense. 3 Doomstalkers. Those are pretty neat for 135 points. They shoot pretty well. Relatively okay durability. The Reanimator is obviously important. Spider, Crypto Thrall, 5 Deathbarks, 10 Lich Guard. No big unit. No big warrior unit, no big mortal unit. This is a really interesting Necron list. I'm glad to see this do well.
You said the 10 Lich Guard, right?
Yeah.
And there were Crypto Thralls?
Yeah, but not, yes. And that's a normal unit, but there's not 20 warriors or 10 immortals or whatever. So, yeah. Fourth place is Benjamin Menasier with Asteriani, which I just mentioned that his name incorrectly earlier. Autarch, Farseer, Fugan, Spirit Seer, Incarn, Night Spinner, Soaping Hawk, Warp Spider, Wraith Blades, Wraith Guard.
Wraith Blades?
Yeah, 2 units of 5 Wraith Blades, Mr. Billy.
Oh.
Both of them with axes, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, that is something that I really wanted to be good when I first saw things, and then I realized you're just supposed to shoot people with Eldar. You're not supposed to punch them. It's
true. All right, that's what I got. Let's go for the final 2 tournaments of the week. You got 15 minutes, lots of time.
I got 3 tournaments, Colin. I get to spread my elbows and spend 5 minutes per tournament, which, whatever. The Broadsword Wargaming ITC Autumn Major 2, because the first one was so successful, I'm sure it was, in Castlebar, Ireland. A castle bar. That is a place that would be fun for pretty much anyone who listens to this anyone who listens to this, the idea of a castle bar just has to be instantly appealing. In Ireland,
Do they
56
drink
players.
in Ireland?
56 players, 5 rounds. Won by Eldari with someone coming for your title, Colin Power. Different Colin.
Oh, no, I can't be the best Colin because Colin Power is too good of a name.
It's a good name.
I feel like my ability to compete with Colin Power is going to be really bad because of how amazing his name is. Anybody who's named after a Simpsons episode. No, okay, go ahead.
All right. Wayleaper, Farseer, Fugan.
Congrats, Colin, by the way.
Yes. Wayleaper, Farseer, Fugan, Spirit Seer, Yinkarn. 3 Night Spinners, because no one on the other side of the table should have any fun. 5 Specters, 2 5s of Spiders, and 10 Wraithguard. You will never interact with this army, and you will lose to it. And yeah, part of the reason I'm playing Black Templars is because I think I have a game into it, but that's another matter entirely. Tyranids Index Detachment, Mark Morrow, Deathleaper, Hive Tyrant, Neurotyrant, 10 Gargs, 20 Horms, 10 Termies, a Biovore, 2 Exocrines, 2 Maleceptors, 3 Neurolictors, 3 Pyrovores, and 2 3s of Zoanthropes.
That's a really good list of what is good in the Tyranid Codex and what is undercosted. Just so everybody knows. That was a master list and what's good.
Yeah, that was datasheets.army as a
it really was. Yeah.
Speaking of datasheets.army, Dan Ahern brought CSM. Abaddon with 5 Legionnaires hanging out, giving him a few extra wounds. 10 Cultists, a single Hellbrute, 12 Obliterators in 3 units of 4, 5 Possessed, 2 Exalted Flamers, who are the solo guys, and 3 3s of Nurglings. This is my Obliterators and Exalted Flamers have nasty math. I don't have a rest of my army, sort of do, but not really. Get punted.
Yeah.
So that's what Dan brought. And then Joseph Musgrave, Eldari. This one is different. This one is one that I wish the core of it, as you'll hear it, ended up really being more the direction of Eldar. So, Wayleaper because you have to, Fugan because he's fun, and because of what's coming. Illic hanging out with 5 Rangers. Inkarn, because again, you have to. 3 Falcons, each of which have 5 Fire Dragons in them.
Oh, man. What a hero.
Yes. Fugan probably also hangs out with one of those.
You'd have to presume.
Yeah. So that's just spicy. That each individual one of those packages is like 350 points, which is, in my opinion, too much given what the rest of Eldar can do. But boy, it does some fun math things. 2 Night Spinners and 2 5s of Spiders.
Okay.
I really wanted Falcons to be the thing with Eldar because they're just cool. And they kind of never have been. And Falcons are good right now. Just the rest of the book is better. But Joseph, you did better than I've ever done. And you are the hero that we deserve with your 15 Fire Dragons. That's sweet. The GT La Laguna 2 in Edecon La Laguna, Spain. Makes sense.
Okay.
46 players, 5 rounds, won by Nelson Worm. With Thousand Suns. Nelson.
I'm sorry, was his last name Worm?
WIRM.
Okay, fair enough.
This is a MSU I have all the Cabal points army.
Okay.
Ahriman, Exalted Sorcerer. 2 Exalted Sorcerers on discs. 1 Infernal Master. 1,000 Sun Sorcerer. 1 Magnus. 10 and then 5 5s of Rubrics. They all the 5s are 3 Warflamers, 1 Soul Reaper Cannon, and the Sorcerer. The 10 is just all Warflamers. 1 Rhino, 3 Enlightened. So this is just MSU. I have all the tricks, all the jank. Each one of these units way punches up, especially when you put some Cabal points into it. This is one of those armies that, for my money, gains the most from player skill and experience. Because it can just fold if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do, every piece is way better than it looks like it should be.
Yeah.
So that was first place Nelson. Good job. Jacinto Lopez, second place with Eldari. Not nearly as much fun as the past list we talked about. Wayleaper, Farseer, Fugan, Spirit Seer with his 10 Wraithguard. Incarn, 3 Night Spinners, 5 Specters, 2 5s of Spiders. Almost point for point what we talked about, the winner of the Castle Bar event. I think they're one of the London GT armies was broadly this, and you're seeing a good degree of solidification around it. You got Adonai Luis Martin with Vanguard Tyranids. These are the fast Tyranids? Is the Vanguard
the fast ones that don't hit very hard.
All right. Death Leaper, because you got to. Winged Tyrant, 2 10s of Gargoyles, 1 10 of Termagants, a Biovore, a Horospex, 2 Maleceptors, 2 Neurolictors. This one was fun, right? A Norn Assimilator and a Norn Emissary, 2 Pyrovores, 1 Ripper, and 6 Von Ryan's new guys. The Norns, I just love them. I am glad that they are good enough to see the table. They don't seem to be taking over the meta yet, which is also probably good because the way they would take it over would be kind of an unpleasant play pattern. But the fact that they can make it onto the table is sweet.
I think that they're actually very good. I think that the Nexus list that Josh Bagwell's been playing is basically 2 norms that jump on 2 objectives at OC 15 while the rest of the army shoots you and punches you. It's very good. Is it amazing? No. But is it very good? Yes. And is it a fantastic army for people that want to play it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Norns are quite good. Norns are not S tier.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because what they do is easier for really good players to counter than for medium skill players.
Yeah.
So if you're not, if you would be really excited to go 4-1 at a tournament, one of these Norn Emissary lists is probably a great list for you if you're excited to play with them. They are cool models.
Yeah, the models are just spectacular. My 2022 favorite model was the Avatar. The Norns were my favorite for 23.
Okay.
4th place, Joel Alberto Castro Gonzalez with Necrons. Locust Lord, Regular Lord, Technomancer, the Unkillable Catan, 1/2 of Crypto Thralls. There's only 1 unkillable block in the army. 2 5s of Death Marks, 10 Flayed Ones, 6 and a 1 of Locust Destroyers, 3/3/1 Locust Heavies, the Lich Guard, that's his Unkillable Anvil, 3 Ophidian Destroyers, and 2 6s of Tomb Blades. So it's, the anvil and the stuff surrounding it. That's what Necrons are. You get to pick your anvil and you get to pick your surrounding stuff. For my money, I think right now that the Warriors are the better Unkillable block than the Lich Guard, but that's just from personal experience because I had a hell of a time chewing through 20 Warriors.
It depends on who you're playing against.
That's fair. I don't know. I just, the more bodies scares me. Anyway, final event, Dragonfall 2023 in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. 40 players, 5 rounds, slightly smaller, but boy, there was, you couldn't not talk about this given what Kevin Leonard did in winning it. Chaos Demons. And not the Chaos Demons list that you're expecting. This man wants skulls for the Skull God. Blood for the Blood God. Bloodthirster, Rendmaster, 3 Skull Masters, which is the Herald on a Blood Crusher, 18 Blood Crushers, 2 5s of Corn Dogs, and 3 Skull Cannons.
I was wondering if there was going to be a Lord of... If the Keg Lord was going to be there.
No, you see the Lord of Kegs a decent amount. 21 Blood Crusher models in this army. I love my Blood Crushers. I wanted to make something like this work, and then Eldar were a thing, and I sort of pivoted away from it. Blood Crushers are sweet. Blood Crushers freaking hurt, and you can do shenanigans with them. I actually think that this army is better than its meta representation, and if you see something like this on the other side of the table, don't assume it's just a meme. It will tear through you. This melee does work. And Kevin proved it, going 5-0. Good job, Kevin.
Wow, great.
Next, we have John Miller with Dark Angels there was actually no reason for this army to be Dark Angels. I flipped through it to make sure a second time. So it's got Steve and his aggressors. I'm just calling him Steve. I'm going to make that happen. 2 solo multi-melt attack bikes, 3 Ballistus Dreads, a Lancer, a Land Raider Redeemer, 3 Redemptors, and a Calidus.
There's nothing in there that is a Dark Angel.
Yeah, I assume John will make this be an Iron Hands detachment next week because that would be better. But these are good data sheets.
I don't know that actually is better. I think it's important to note that the Gladius detachment is still extremely strong.
Yeah, and
the doctrine warlord trait, or the doctrine detachment ability is really, really good. And then there's certain strats in there that you don't get otherwise. Like if you're playing Deathwing Knights, for example, the Lance strat for charging and getting, there's things. That's all.
And Steve and the Aggressors are really Busto in Gladius and only good. You wouldn't take Steve with them. You take the Flamestorm and the other ones. Still, good job by John. We have James Fisher in third place. This is sort of a mishmash of the other Eldar lists we've been seeing. Mishmash. Wayleaper, Avatar Anian Karn, Death Jester, Farseer Fugan, Illic, and Solitaire, because why not spend 1,300 points on your characters? 5 Fire Dragons that go in that Falcon along with Fugan, one assumes. 5 Rangers to hang out with Illic. And then 5 Spectres, 5 Hawks, and 10 Warp Spiders. So you got your mission playing tool, and you got your characters, and you got your Eldar rules. Good job, James. Finally, we have Jason Moskalik. Jason brought Thousand Suns. Again, a very MSU-based build. Armon on disc, Magnus, 2 Exalted Sorcerers on disc, 3 Infernal Masters, and 1,000 Sun Sorcerer, 5x5 rubrics with the Flamers and the Soul Reaper, a solo Mutilith, and a Rhino to wrap us up. You can do a lot of things in this meta, and it's going to work. Know what you're doing, know your targets, know how you have a plan. We talked about a lot of armies today.
Yeah. In fact, I would say that over the last few weeks, we've talked about more variety than at any point in us doing this show. And that's really great. I'm extremely excited about that. I think that, yes, Eldar are probably still too good. Gene Stealer Cult gone.
Yeah.
Like Custode's gone. Some of the really good Predators are just gone. And that's not great. Those people should be able to play their armies. But at the same time, we're seeing Sisters and Votan and more Chaos lists and, a lot of different stuff. Not Guard, sadly. I wanted to talk about some Guard today. But
there was some Guard. I talked about Guard. I read you that parking lot.
I missed it. Sorry. Oh, yeah, the 2 Dorns. I remember now, yes. Yeah. I commented on it. Okay, guys. Thank you, everybody, for the help bearing with us through the technical problems and such. We are always excited to do this show for you, and we will be back next Tuesday to talk about what's new over the next 7 days of 40K. For This Week in 40K, he's Billy, and I'm Colin, because someone has to be, and we'll be back at you soon. Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.